heavy people. You heavy people on a budget, so therefore you're looking at Chinese pedals from Caline to fill your heavy pedal need. You might have a guitar like this with Le 7 strings, which is Hungarian for extended range. We're looking at the Caline something driver, easy driver. Well, easy doesn't sound massive and heavy, you know. Well, it's easy to get sounds out of the easy driver. So what do we have here? Well, Caline company from China, you know, Shenzhen, where all the inexpensive pedals are made, usually from companies that don't employ a lot of guitar players. So you find weird things where we go like, what? Not in the case of this pedal, which is from the, what, a DCP series or something like this, or DCU, I don't remember. Anyway, they clock in at around 70 to 80 bucks, depending on where you find them. And that's a pretty bargain. I'm getting paid for this video, but, well, whatever I say is what I say. Okay? The quality is good. I like the size of these things. We have a couple of cameras showing that. That's my hand. It's not a huge hand. It's a normal hand, and that's a pretty small pedal. Look at him. Look at him. I really like the form factor. The clickies are hard clickies. There is a pop coming, which is something that, okay, happens with, you know, some inexpensive pedals. Input left, output, no, input right, output left. Would be nice if that was top mounted, but we can't, come on, it's 80 bucks. And then I really like this chassis mounted 9-volt on the top. That is something not even some boutique pedals have. So what do we have here? We have a Mesa style. I hate it when they frickin' clone shit. Stop doing that. Make your own circuits. Okay? Now I bitched about that. Fine. Let's just say it's okay. Which it isn't. Get some engineers that know their shit, make your own pedals, and leave the people that made the actual pedals alone instead of ripping them off. Sorry, Caline. You can pay me everything you want, but it's not okay. I worked for Joyo, and I stopped working for Joyo because they were ripping off pedals from my friends. And that's not okay. So I said, keep your money, no more. They have really good engineers in China. Why don't they use them? I don't know. So, sorry, it's based on a Mesa something. Level, gain 1, gain 2, we'll find out where the difference is. I don't know, just more gain. And then the graphic EQ with the level. 100 hertz, 200 hertz, 400 hertz, who knows what hertz? 0 hertz? What happened there? 1.6, 3.2K. Is that 1K? What's it supposed to mean? Who knows? Nobody thought about it when they designed the pedal. And you can turn on the EQ separately. Yeah, it looks a little bit purple. So I'm playing that with this Ibanez RGD from the 2021 range. So this is, as of the filming of this video, not even allowed to be in a video. So this video has to come out when it's allowed. The RGD range are all one step lower, longer range, and not longer scale. This is dropped to D. So it's standard D and then a 7th string, which in this case is an A. So that's technically an A something guitar. Lucky Tunies, rich light top, which is to say some kind of plastic crap for loads of money. The guitar is called, Leslie, what do you think it's called?
Some letters and numbers.
What letters and numbers? I mean, look at the shape. I just actually said it's an RGD. What do you think it starts with?
I don't know.
Well, obviously RGD. And then?
I don't care.
It's an RGDR4427FX-NTF. I'm gonna repeat that for you guys out there. I mean, Leslie, of course, wrote it down and knows by now, right?
Leave me alone.
It's an RGDR4427FX-NTF. Ibanez and their product names. Beautiful. Are they from China? I don't know. No, they're Japanese. So this is what it sounds like into the Tone King, which is obviously not what you would use with this guitar and an inexpensive pedal, which is wrong. Here, we gotta pull that down a bit. There we go. That's more beautiful. We're also going to run into a very tiny 20 watt, or 50 watt Class D Houston Kettner Spirit of Vintage and then into a whole bunch of amps that this pedal shouldn't go into, but we're doing it anyway because those are the amps we test shit with. So that's the Tone King. So it's low and le heavy. And back here. Yeah, it's not what this pedal is made for. And you can clearly already tell that there's a mid-honk. So we're gonna go get gain 1 up and see what happens. I don't know if they sound any different really. Gain 1 or 2, if they have different functions. Mid-honky and not a lot of heft. That's what the EQ is for. We're going to leave that setting. So for a really heavy sound, we want some more heft. We want to get some of that midiness out there and some definition. Let's see. feeling you get when you get into the solo tones, you still hear a lot of mid-focused stuff happening. But obviously, there's more you can get out of an EQ like this. You can push the mids for solo stuff. So you can use it for effect kind of settings like that in a song like you'll be playing an intro. Yeah, you know, shit like that. I find some of the frequencies on the EQ weird, especially the mids. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if 400 is actually at 400. It doesn't sound like 400 to me. It sounds quite a bit higher. So I don't know if we can trust those 100, 200, 400, 0. But technically, it should be 800. Because it's Lager Flumbig. You can see it's 100, 200, 300, 800, 1.6, 3.2. So it's Lager Flumbig. Clearly exponential. Exponential. Put that into other amps. Let's go to the tiny little thing there. Using Kettner Spirit of Vintage. Probably the best pedal platform under 200 bucks. Doesn't have an effects loop, which sucks, but it does take pedals really well. And if they have output like this, it does not take this pedal. That amp is flabbing out completely, so that we're not going to do that. Nobody would go into a Badcat Cub40 Vox type amp with that pedal, except we're going to go into Badcat Cub40 Vox type amp with that pedal. And this guitar, which is called the RGDR4427FX-NTF. Let's see, write that down. We're going into the Artist 60 by Hamstead, which again is a boutique-y kind of a clean platform up there. But hey, we gotta push it into some amps, right? I'd love to see that setup on that pedal show where they play that amp. That'd be funny. Okay, there's no heft, there's no bottom, there's no anything. I don't know what's going on. That wouldn't be a metal sound that you would want. Then, thank you, Leslie. The MVP66, which is already driving in, is a classic kind of no headroom JTM Marshall. Sounds completely different in that amp than the Tone King. It's ridiculous how all of a sudden it's all mids and nothing else. Going into the mini Plexi, which is already cranked, is not a great idea. I think that's not gonna happen. Hey, that's cool. It's also not amazing. We're going into the big Marshall, which is the JCM800. That's made for heavy shit. What the? That's pretty cool. I'm good with that. And then we go into the Orange, which is also a pretty high gain amp. Orange Rockerverb 50. It was that orange thing. In the Tone King, it worked. So my bottom line is, it's very tough because I think the concept is good. I like the idea of two gains and then the whole tone is happening in the graphic EQ. Graphic EQ is easy to understand and easy to dial in, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. However, not a lot of amps seem to like the pedal. I know this is not something that Caline wants to hear. It's also probably something that Caline didn't test because realistically, most of these companies, not just the Chinese ones, they don't test in a lot of amps. I know this. I know pedal companies do not have a whole bunch of amps. I know some high-end companies, all they have is Orange. So when they test an Orange, that's fine, but the Orange has so much mids that it doesn't realistically show you what your pedal will do in a bunch of amps. Technically, you have to have a JCM, you have to have a Plexi, you have to have a deluxe reverb, you have to have a Vox, and probably an Orange to know what's happening. Also, you have to have something cheap, transistor style. Realistically, as a pedal maker, you should. Practically, most of them don't. I know Brian Wampler has a bunch of good amps behind him, and that's probably more realistic than a lot of other pedal manufacturers. So, I think the Easy Driver does have good sounds in the correct amp. And amongst all the amps I had, Tone King was good, JCM was good, Orange was very mid-focused, but that's Orange. That little cheapo thing couldn't handle it. My fingers are black from the guitar. And yeah, so that's my verdict. I think it's a good pedal. It's fun. You can get very cool heavy sounds out of it, but you have to know your amp. And the only way to know what's happening is you buy it, you try it, you send it back if you don't like it. That's how it works. Thanks, Caline, for paying me to say all these things. They wrote this as a script, word by word. It's exactly what they wanted me to say. Thank you, Leslie, for learning the name of the guitar yet again. And we're going to put some animals at the end.